Most of us live under the quiet assumption that our meaningful life is still waiting for us somewhere in the future. We treat our current existence like a prelude, a temporary waiting room for the real event to begin. This is the deferred life hypothesis. We hold our own happiness hostage to a series of milestones. We promise ourselves that we'll finally start living once we secure the promotion, hit a specific weight loss target, or find a committed relationship. This simply creates a permanent holding pattern. We spend our time ruminating on past regrets or planning for a future that remains perpetually out of reach, treating the present moment as a mere obstacle to be cleared. Viewing your life as a perpetual intro ensures that you never actually show up for the only time you truly possess. You are simply running toward the end of your timeline while waiting for a mirage to solidify. When we feel the weight of this discontent, our instinct is to add. We attempt to build a better life by piling on new habits, more complex goals, and additional responsibilities, hoping that volume will lead to fulfillment. This relies on the false assumption that our capacity for work will magically expand to accommodate the load. In reality, our workload capacity operates like a fixed-size container. You can swap the contents, but you cannot exceed the volume. The danger of this endless striving is reaching the summit of a decade-long goal, only to realize your ladder was leaning against a wrong wall. You can spend your entire life successfully climbing toward a destination that provides no actual satisfaction. Piling on ambitions without a clear sense of direction creates a heavier burden rather than a better life. You end up exhausted, carrying a mountain of tasks that don't actually move you toward where you want to be. Society encourages us to optimize for observable metrics. These are the markers of success that people can see and measure: a high-level job title, a growing bank balance, or a bright red Ferrari. For every visible achievement, there is an associated hidden metric. These are the qualitative aspects of living that others can't see: your peace of mind at night, the quality of your relationships, and your ability to be present at the dinner table. We often enter into an unequal career transaction, trading away our hidden well-being for a slightly better title. We sacrifice hours of sleep and family connection to secure a salary that is supposed to buy the very happiness we are currently trading away. When you design your life primarily for what others can observe, you create a deficit in your own internal experience. You win the external game while losing the internal one. High achievers eventually encounter what's known as the unteachable lesson. It is the harsh realization that external accolades have no power to fix a sense of internal insufficiency. You can accumulate material wealth and professional fame, but these markers operate on a different plane than self-worth. If the underlying feeling of not enoughness remains, no amount of money or status will resolve it. This internal friction between who we are and who we feel we must become creates the discomfort of procrastination. We avoid the work because we have tied our identity so tightly to our success that failing at a task feels like an existential threat. On a practical level, this paralysis stems from two specific issues. Either the next physical step is poorly defined, or we lack the specific skill needed to move forward. We get stuck because we don't know how to start the spreadsheet, or we're unsure how to phrase the first email. These avoidance behaviors act as warning signals. They point directly to the exact fears and internal voids we are trying to out-achieve. Managing your life requires respecting the law of behavioral capacity. To pick a new habit up, you must first put an old one down. Your time and energy are a zero-sum game. Before adding any new goals, you should create a subtraction list. This involves looking at your current calendar and identifying which tasks, habits, or relationships need to be crossed out in red to make room for your new priorities. Try limiting your definition of a successful year to just 2 major outcomes. Maybe you focus on your physical health and your primary relationship, accepting that other ambitions must take a back seat for now. Real clarity comes from the aggressive pruning of distractions. By narrowing your focus, you allow the important things to finally receive the energy they require. To maintain this focus daily, ask yourself a grounding question. If you could only achieve one thing today, what would it be? Identify that single most impactful task and make it the priority. Break that task down into the absolute smallest physical action. Focus only on putting on your shoes, opening the specific document, or sitting at the desk. Small, manageable steps allow you to bypass the anxiety of a massive goal. You must also accept that problems exist as an inherent feature of living. There will never be a future moment where your life is completely free of challenges or friction. While much of our culture celebrates a relentless hustle that demands we grind until we break, real strength often involves knowing when to stop. We need the discipline to rest, to log out, and to grant ourselves psychological grace. Meaning resides in the present moment, even with its flaws. You find it by dropping the heavy burdens you were never meant to carry, and choosing to inhabit the life you have right now.